Hello guys and welcome back to something different on my channel today. Over this weekend I'm going to be ranking Chelsea and Football Club Barcelona seasons in these kind of little rankings, and this is something that's been going around YouTube a little bit now, or just in general, ranking the best footballers or ranking the best sports people, best actors, etc. The website's called Tier Maker, and you can create your own things, or there's loads of featured ones, especially for the big clubs. If you are a football fan, you're going to want to do something similar to what I'm going to be doing here, then I do recommend trying it out. I'll try and remember to leave a link in the description. If I don't, then just search up Tier Makers and you should be able to find this. So what is on your screen right now is what we're going to be doing. We've got a list of the Chelsea players this season. I've only included the main ones, so there's none of the younger ones in there, such as Ethan Ampadu. I just don't feel as if there's a need to include him, and this was one of the featured ones I ended up finding. I think it's completely fine if I'm being honest. We've got a nice amount of players to select from, and all in all, Chelsea haven't had the biggest squad this season. Something Sarri has complained about, maybe haven't been enough players that fit his system, but generally we have found it difficult to rotate, and it has caused a bit of tiredness in the squad right now, that is for sure. But without any further ado, let's get going. I believe I've organised these players along the bottom here in as best alphabetical order as I can, and we've got 5 sections I believe to go through here. We've got excellent, we've got above average, we've got average, below average and awful. So let's get going. Right, I've gone ahead and rearranged the colours on the columns now, so that looks a little bit easier to start with. And let's just go ahead and begin here. So first off, Cesar Azpilicueta, the man, well, Mr. Consistent. He's played every game for us this season, not every minute, but he has played every game. And if I'm being honest, I would put Azpilicueta not excellent, I wouldn't give him an excellent season, but I'd put him above average. He definitely hasn't had an average season. I think he's been our captain for most of the season, and he actually has done a decent job at that right back spot. I do feel as if it's still an issue, especially in Sarri's system. We want wing-backs that can go up and down, put good balls into the box, very quick, very mobile. I wouldn't say Azpilicueta offers that. What he does always offer is 7 out of 10 performances. He'll put his heart on the line, and I do like that about Azpi, so I'd give Azpi an above average season here. Moving on to Marcos Alonso now. Yeah, the guy hasn't had a good season, if I'm being honest. He did really blossom at the start of his Chelsea career, and even at the start of this season, he was banging in goals for Sarri. Remember all that talk, Sarri saying, if he just improves defensively a little, he'll be the best fullback in Europe. Yeah, about that. That hasn't come off at all, has it? He's been benched by Emerson recently, and with good reason. He's just done nothing for us. I haven't been pleased with Alonso. I really haven't. He gets goals here and there, important goals. Man U away, Sparta Prague away, or Slavia Prague away rather. He's been decent goal scoring, as he always is. He provides for us, but I just don't rate his season all in all. Alonso, I'm going to give him a below average season. I don't even think he's been average. He hasn't been awful, I wouldn't say. I'll reserve that for a few others, and I'll just leave Alonso in there. It's a shame because he actually did start off his Chelsea career really well, and this season, but in this back four, it hasn't worked. He can't really defend. He's looking less mobile than ever. He's giving away silly free kicks and penalties. Yeah, below average. Next up, we got Ross Barkley, a really interesting player actually, because he's got a lot of action under Sarri. I would think he'd definitely be one of those players that has benefited with Sarri coming in. He seems to like that role he's got in midfield, and I'll go ahead and give him an average season. He's been alright for us, Barkley. He is a decent option to have, I think. When we brought off the bench in the Europa League semi-final not too long ago now, second leg at home to Frankfurt, in that extra time period, he did give us a bit of something different. He's got a shot from outside the box. It goes a lot of the time, but the start of that season, November sort of period, he was chipping in with goals for us. So I'll give Barkley an average season. I don't think he's been that good for us. But then, having said that, he hasn't been terrible either. So I'll give Barkley what has been an average season. I still think he's one of those players that pretty much sums up the word average. He's all right. Chelsea quality for a starting lineup, I wouldn't say so. Next up, we got our sub-goalkeeper, Willy Caballero. Don't really know what I can say about this guy. I'll give him an average season, actually. He played a few games for us in the Cup, and I'll tell you what with Willy, he makes quite a lot of good saves, so I'll put him an average season. There's not really much you can say about him. He's played some Cup games, and when he does, as I mentioned, he does actually make some really, really good saves, so I'll give him an average season. Gary Cahill, someone who I feel harsh giving him awful, because he's definitely got under 5-10 appearances. So I'll give him a below average season. When he has played, I know he doesn't suit the style. He's been frustrated. He hasn't been happy with the way Sarri's treated him. I don't think anyone can be happy. He's a club captain. He's done so much for us, and Sarri kind of just exiled him in that squad essentially. So I'll give him a below average season. I couldn't really give him any higher than that. He just hasn't played enough. Andreas Christensen, I'd actually would have expected a bit more from him this season. I really like Christensen as a centre back. I really do. I think he's got a lot about him, but I don't know what it is about him. Is he actually that good? I can't really tell, honestly, guys. I really can't. So yeah, with Christensen, it is certainly a weird one. It is. I'll give him an average season simply because I feel a lot of the games when he's up against physical strikers, we seem to struggle big time. I wouldn't say he's that commanding in the air at all. So yeah, that would probably be one of the main reasons why I'd give him that. Next up here, guys, we've gone ahead and got David Luiz. I'll be really tempted to give up David Luiz an above average season, you know. But I feel this season hasn't actually been that good. I know we've got our third spot now. I know we're in the Europa League final. I know we only got knocked out in the Carabao Cup final. On the base of things, it looks decent. But I just feel so many times this season we've just been boring to watch. A little bit poor. And Luiz defensively hasn't been good enough to be above average or on that Aspie level in my opinion. I'll put him average if I'm being honest, and that's going to probably be the biggest column. I've got to be careful I don't fill the whole bloody thing up because it's just been a really average season in my opinion. Now, we're a Chelsea side who wants to be challenging for trophies and we haven't really been able to do that. We're not the big ones anyway. Also, I'll put David Luiz with an average season. Emerson is another one of those really interesting ones that I'd be tempted to give above average, and you know what, I'll put him above average. I have been impressed with Emerson. I do like him. I feel as if he's a really slick player. I don't think he's bad defensively. He doesn't look like he would be good defensively, but he actually is quite solid. I do feel as if he wins it back a lot for us. And going forward, you know, he's not bad either. If his crossing improves a little bit, then you know what, maybe he could be a top player for us. But as things stand right now, I'd give him an above average season. I just feel he's been better than average for us this season actually, Emerson, so I've been quite impressed with him. Next up we've got Olivier Giroud. This guy is someone who I would give an above average season. I think he's been good for us, Giroud, I do. He hasn't got a lot of chances. A lot of the time I feel like, what are you doing? But I like Giroud. I think he gives you a lot, Giroud, as a striker. I really do. And I think a lot of people would also agree with that. So I'll definitely put Giroud up there. He just offers something different, you know. He's a target man. I feel as if whenever Giroud's on the pitch, you know, the players around us have so many more opportunities to play. And, you know, it's sometimes difficult playing around Giroud and it doesn't always suit our style, but at the end of the day, I do think Giroud has had an above average season. I would definitely give him that. I've been quietly impressed with Giroud, you know, being, what, Europa League top scorer joint with it is Jovic, is he now? After the Jovic's 2 goals in the games against Chelsea. I know Giroud didn't score against Frankfurt, so yeah, I have been impressed with Giroud. I'll give him an above average season. Next up we have, who else but Eden Hazard. Is he on the way out? As this video goes out, has he already left? Who knows? I doubt it because I think he's going to be announcing it at the end of that Europa League final. But there's no doubt Eden Hazard has had an excellent season for us. Again, what is he? The most productive player in the Premier League this season, playing in a Chelsea side, which, you know, as you can tell by this, there's a lot has been very average or even below average. So few players have impressed. Hazard really has. You know, what a player he is, what a servant he's been. There's not really much you can say about Hazard. The guy's a genius who's been scoring big goals for us for years now, and this year's been no different. So I'd definitely put Eden Hazard as an excellent season. Gonzalo Higuain, this is a really tough one. I don't know whether to put him below average or average. I might put him below, you know. I don't know what to do. I like Higuain as a striker, actually. I like what he offers. He gets in the channels and his shot is really powerful and direct, and he often picks up the corners or the top corners. But he just, there's something about Higuain. He's a little bit fat, a little bit immobile. A lot of the time he's just hanging on the edge of the box and you're thinking, get in there. I don't actually know how much he offers us, and I don't know how much he has offered us this season in a whole. So I'll put him below average, which is a little bit of a shame. Hudson-Odoi, I would put above average. I'm going to only give excellent to the players who I do think have been excellent. So yeah, above average is kind of like good, you could say. So I'll give Hudson-Odoi that. I do think he has had a really smart season for us. You know, breaking into that first team, so happy that's happened. You know, there were so many rumours he was going to leave to Bayern, but once he started playing under Sarri, no one was ever going to be selling him. He wasn't going to be going anywhere. You know, as long as he's playing at Chelsea, he's happy. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. But it's just if he wasn't going to be playing, then he was going to leave. But now that he's playing, or when he was playing before that horrible injury, he did actually have a really promising year for us. So Hudson-Odoi in there, above average season, couldn't agree more really. Excellent, nearly excellent. I just feel a few times, you know, he needs to mature a little bit, but that'll come with age, and I'm sure, you know, next couple of seasons he'll definitely be having excellent ones for us. Now we have Jorginho, the scapegoat of Chelsea this year. And honestly, I don't know why. I think it's mainly because he came with Sarri and he came with that sort of, you know, the Sarri ball approach, and I don't think people like that. He took Kante's position, who's a real fan's favourite. But Jorginho has nearly had an excellent season with Hudson-Odoi for me. Very tempted to put those two up there. I'd definitely put him above average though. He creates a lot for us. He's created one of the most chances in the Premier League this season. But, you know, as you guys will be watching, if you've been watching my live reviews, or my live reviews of the game, my live reactions, then you guys will know that he always gets players in on goal goal and they just don't finish it. Either it's a good save or they miss it. So yeah, Jorginho creates everything for us. He starts everything for us. He turns over possession. He's quick on the ball. He started really well, actually, Jorginho. I know a lot of people were impressed with him, and then there was kind of that period of time where people thought, "What are you doing here?" And I see where they were coming from. You know, it's a bit suicidal in my opinion, having someone like Jorginho who can't really run back defending when you're like against Man City away, Liverpool away. I just feel if we could tuck Kante in with a 2 maybe, or even Kante in there and then Jorginho a little bit further forward creating play, I think that could just be a lot more beneficial for us. But in most games, especially when we're dominating, Jorginho can be the one to open up defences for us, so I'd give him an above average season, definitely nearly on that excellent mark. Next up here we have the fans' favourite N'Golo Kante. This is a guy, again, I wouldn't actually give an excellent season, that might surprise a few. I just feel as if sometimes Kante gets a free passage into being excellent. I do think he has had a really, really good season for us, but the excellent I'm giving 9 out of 10s or 10s out of 10 seasons. I think Kante has had about an 8. About an 8 out of 10 season. New position he's taken a bit of time to adapt to, but I really like him there. His energy in midfield helps us massively. You can tell when he's not there. If he's not there in the Europa League final, we're going to have big issues. There's no doubt about that. But I think when Kante's in our team, you know, you cannot deny that it helps us massively. Of course it does. You know, Kante's one of the best players in the world, but I would give him an above average season. You know, in with the likes of Jorginho, Azpilicueta, Hudson-Odoi, Giroud and Emerson. He's also really impressed me this season for Chelsea, but I just wouldn't quite give him an excellent season because I only want to preserve that for players who have just taken my mind away this year, with 9 out of 10 / 10 out of 10 performances almost week in, week out, which Hazard has indeed provided us once more. Kante's been solid again, really impressive season by him, but I wouldn't give him excellent. Someone who I would potentially give excellent though is Kepa. There are some in here that are really, really playing on my mind right now. How tempting is it to give Kepa an excellent season? I'll give him above average. I kind of want to change that name for above average, but yeah, it just sounds a little bit like they've been alright. Basically, above average is almost like good or very good, and excellent is the top tier, but Kepa, tempting, really, really tempting to give him an excellent season, but I'll give him above average. He's been very good for us. I just think if he improves crosses or dealing with the long balls into the box, then he'll be one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Really hoping he can integrate into the Spain team now. That'll be massive for us. But yeah, I'll definitely give him an above average season. He's been epic for us this year. In my opinion, top 5, top 3 keepers in the Prem for sure. Kovacic, that's another player going straight into the average column. Wouldn't give him above average, that would, below average, sorry, that would be unfair. And above average would certainly be punching for him. But he pretty much defines the term average for us this season. He's been okay, 6 out of 10 performances week in, week out. When he plays as the player that we need though to create, like in that Barkley and Loftus cheek role, I hate that. He's just not good enough there. He doesn't give us anything going forward. No goals, very little assists. So yeah, Kovacic, average season. Someone who's going to join in Hazard in the excellent column is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Not just because of form, I just feel his season as a whole has been absolutely outstanding. The way he was kind of blocked out of the team initially, he's worked his way into it, and now he's a regular, and he scores goals week in, week out. He's exactly what we've been looking for since Frank Lampard. He reminds everyone of Michael Ballack, and I couldn't agree more. That driving force in midfield, he's strong, he's tall, he's athletic, he's energetic. He's exactly what we need in the Chelsea midfield. And he suits that, number 10 position perfectly almost, driving on from that midfield. You know, as Marek Hamšík was under Sarri at Napoli, he's perfect. I love Loftus-Cheek, suits the Premier League to a T. And you know, when he comes up against the slightly smaller and less physical teams in Europe, it really shows that. In that away to Frankfurt game, I think even their like huge fans were thinking, "What on earth is happening here? This guy's running rings around us," and he was charging through them. They couldn't get hands on him, and that's been for most teams this season. Very difficult to dispossess. And he's got so little opportunities too, and his stats are just impeccable. I would definitely give Loftus-Cheek an excellent season. What a player. Pedro is someone who I don't really know what to give, and I'm actually going to give him an average season. I wouldn't give him above average. I don't think he's been on the same level as some of those players I have got in there. He's got a lot of goals. I like Pedro, I really do. I think he's energetic, he's a sharp player. I do also like the way he always gives 100% for the team. He's one of those players that always wants to win things. You know, he's a winner, he's won wherever he's gone. So he definitely always wants us to be getting the 3 points. But I just feel a lot of times this season, you know, there are so many opportunities when he could have passed, when he could have shot, and he hasn't done. If he was maybe a little bit different in that regard, you know, I just feel sometimes he isn't as productive as maybe he could have been. Which is surprising because he's a player who is extremely clinical in my opinion, one of the top finishers in Europe, on both feet too. but there are certain occasions where he blazes it too high, or he just doesn't do enough for us, or doesn't offer us enough, and sometimes he just looks far too easy to be dispossessed. So that's why I'd give him an average season. And the third player who's going to be joining Hazard and Loftus-Cheek in the excellent seasons is Antonio Rudiger. I've given Rudiger above Kepa, above Kante and above Jorginho. That could surprise a few, but hey, I think Rudiger has been excellent. You can definitely see when he's not on our defence. We need him to deal with the physical players. He's outstanding in that regard. The guy's an absolute beast. Such a shame that he's injured now. He's not going to be featuring in that Europa League final either, I do not believe, bar a mere miracle. But yeah, he's been so good for us, Rudiger. What an absolute tank at the back. Just because of his injury at the end here, I'm not going to take anything away from his season. I'm still really impressed with what Rudiger has indeed brought to the plate this season. Such a beast at the back, future captain in my opinion once Aspie moves on. Really good leader, you know, speaks good English already, and he always gives his all for the team too. I love that about Rudiger. I think everyone can agree. He's probably had an 8 out of 10 season for us, maybe even a 9. So yeah, I'm really happy with Rudiger this year. I just feel he offers us so much at the back. I'd give him an excellent season. Penultimate player, Willian Borgias da Silva Santos. Here he goes. Willian is a player I love, but he's had a below average season. I think you guys will all know that too. All Chelsea fans anyway, probably football fans too. Has he offered us enough? No. You know, I feel a lot of the time he gets the ball and he's just like dilly-dallying on it. Is he going to do anything? No. And then out of nowhere, you know, he'll whip one into the top corners. Who knows, Walter Willian? Who honestly knows? But I just feel as if he's not consistent enough. You know, I think the Leicester game, he was very impressive, and he often has games like that. And then he'll go 4 or 5 games straight of just doing nothing and then getting brought off in the 60th minute for Pedro. So I don't really get what Willian's deal is right now. I think he does love Chelsea, wants to stay. Also like Sarri too, probably the way he plays, you know, that freedom as a winger to drive on and run at defenders, but who knows about Willian. I'd give him a below average season. I don't feel as if he's been that good for us again. So for Willian, it is unfortunately going to have to be below average. And the final player is Acosta, someone who at the beginning of the season I thought was going to be featuring a lot more than he has done. And I'm going to give him an average season. He hasn't been bad at all. I like Acosta whenever he comes on. He gives us a lot, in my opinion. He really does. And I was very surprised, as I mentioned, when Sarri didn't give him, or hasn't given him, this many opportunities. Because I do think Acosta is a smart play. You know, he offers us a lot down the right hand side. He's good at crosses, which is something I feel as if we lack in a lot. And he's also not bad defensively. He's a quick player. He's a smart player. His long legs help him out a lot. I think he gives us a lot down the right hand side. I love when he came off the bench against Frankfurt, blocked one off the line, nearly scored, you know, putting in a great shift. I like Acosta a lot, I really do. I feel he's been very unfortunate not to be getting more appearances this season, in all honesty. And I think Sarri will be regretting that too after what he's seen from him in the final 2 games of the season. So yeah, Acosta, hats off to you, my son, and that's the team done. So there you have it, guys. Those are my Chelsea players I have selected for this season. I've rated them like that. I've put no one in awful. I just feel that I'd be a little bit harsh if I was to put someone in there. You know, maybe it would be Gary Cahill, but again, I just feel that's harsh because he hasn't played a lot of football for us. I haven't put anyone in there. I think we've had a decent season, not bad at all. Been quite impressed with the way we've integrated into Sarri's first season. Haven't had the best squad. You know, you look around those players and you're thinking, it's all right. It's not bad. You know, there's quite a few good ones in there. I don't mind our squad right now. But yeah, I just feel, you know, players like Alonso, Higuain, Willian could have offered us so much more this season. Same goes for Kovacic, Barkley, Pedro. But there have been players who have impressed, you know, Hazard, of course, Loftus-Cheek, Rudiger. Emerson I've liked his integration in the left-back spot. Jorginho's been excellent for me, certainly as a signing. Hudson-Odoi's in the first team now, guys. You know, Giroud always offers us something. Kepa's been immense in goal, brilliant replacement for Courtois. Couldn't have done better with replacing the big man. And then, of course, Kante, you know, ever consistent in that midfield. But that's my Chelsea one, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, then please do drop a like on the video. I'll be back tomorrow doing a Barcelona one, so I hope you guys do end up enjoying that too. And yeah, I'm going to be discussing their squad. Going to be interesting too, in my opinion. And I'll see you guys very soon. Hopefully you did enjoy it. I'll be back with more videos in the next couple of days. This May month is hopefully going to be one of my best in YouTube so far, getting out some interesting and fun videos for you guys. I'll see you guys very soon. Goodbye.